Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, May 15th. So we have the moon moving out of Pisces energy, moving into Aries energy, which of course begins a brand new emotional lunar cycle. The Aries energy is a fire energy, so we're definitely going to feel a little bit revved up, a little bit kind of fired up in all the right ways. We're very kind of to the point, very headstrong. We want to take action. We want to act on impulse. However, not really the best time for physical actions. A great time for inner action to kind of reframe, restructure our lives and moving forward. However, there are going to be some impulses that we are going to have to resist as far as jumping into new things and initiating new chapters are concerned. This is the last day that Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings, will be in this Aries energy. So we are reaching those critical crisis degrees where we kind of get the intensity, the pressurized sensation of having to wrap this particular life lesson up. And of course, Jupiter magnifies, turns the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking, feeling, and experiencing. So we're definitely going to have some restless energy be triggered because of that. There are 9 different aspects here today. 8 of them will involve the moon. While the moon is still in Pisces energy, but void, of course, we will have an interaction with Jupiter, which is a very interesting dynamic. So the moon in Pisces, of course, wants us to slow down, wants us to reflect, wants us to kind of sort out what is staying, what is going. This particular aspect with Jupiter, which is all about growth and expansion, especially where our reinvention of self is concerned, is going to highlight for us the pieces of the old self that we are essentially done with, that we've outgrown, that we are purging, that we are releasing in order for us to start fresh, to start new. And we definitely have a lot of ending/beginning chapters overlapping. The moon moving into this Aries energy while Jupiter is preparing to move out is absolutely one of them. And we are going to be feeling that restlessness, that fire energy be triggered and activated within us. The moon then shifts into the Aries energy, kind of bringing, again, a little bit of a pep back into our step. And the first aspect that we have with the moon in Aries is a sextile, a beautiful, beautiful energy with Pluto, the great transformer, who is retrograde in this Aquarian energy. So Pluto's whole purpose is to help us understand where in our psyche we have limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, where we have fears and doubts and insecurities that obviously got planted early in our experience that somehow in our unconscious programming still kind of pushing us to make decisions and have a reactive behavior to our current circumstances that are based in the past, not based in the present. The whole point of Pluto kind of going in a retrograde, especially in this Aquarian energy, is for us to kind of create boundaries in our old narratives so that we're not allowing the old version of ourselves to create situations in the here and now that will literally dictate our future. So the moon being in Aries, we're not looking back. We're easily able to kind of identify what needs to be tackled, what needs to be cut off, what needs to be challenged, what needs to grow. And in this particular aspect, we're definitely seeing the different layers, if you will, of our narrative, of our thoughts, of our ideas, the blockages, the challenges, and we are easily able to rewrite those narratives with the moon in this Aries energy. We have Mars, who rules over the Aries energy, currently in the Cancer energy, trining, which is a beautiful vibe, with Neptune, who is in its place of power in Pisces energy. So we get some water on water action here. So what this energy is going to kind of trigger within us is to shift us out of the fear-based patterns, the attachment patterns to the old, to traditions, to just kind of looking back, romanticizing and being nostalgic. Now we're shifting gears, right? Mercury is now direct. Yes, he's in his post-shadow period. Yes, it's going to take us into June before we understand things clearly, but the pivot point has already happened. It actually happened on the 9th when the Sun and Uranus came together together. It shook us up. It jolted us. Now we are moving away from looking back. We are standing in the present moment, and we are now comfortable to project ourselves moving forward into the future past that we're currently trying to strategize and plan for. So what this particular aspect is doing is it's saying, hey, okay, I'm done. I'm letting go of the past. Now I'm going to open myself up to new ideas, to new paths, to new directions. Well, all of a sudden, we're able to let go of the anger. We're able to let go of the fear. We're able to let go of whatever it is that we have identified that is holding us back or creating some uncertainty in our path and moving forward. Suddenly, we're inspired, whether it's by a new idea, a goal, a vision, a dream, or we're just inspired to move the F away from all of the things that we have identified through this retrograde, through this eclipse season, that we've outgrown, that we no longer want to experience, that is no longer supporting us in our dreams, in our vision, in our goals to actually move forward. Regardless, we're not going to question it. We're going to ride the wave. We're going to take a mental and emotional snapshot of what this actually looks like and feels like, because it might not stick around for too long. The important part is that the pivot is happening. Instead of being so entrenched in the past, we are now at least in the present moment. And even more than that, we are planning for our future. The moon in Aries is going to make an interaction with the true node, the north node, that of course is our soul path, our destiny point, trying to get us on the right path in order to move forward. This particular interaction is a little bit of an observation, an opportunity to see where it is that we're still kind of caught up on some things. Of course, that fiery energy of Aries is able to burn through the cords, cut through the connections, really kind of dissolve whatever kind of attachments we've identified are blocking us from growing, from healing, from actually moving forward. The moon then has a semi-square, a little bit of a tension point with Uranus, the great awakener, who is in this Taurus energy. Now, normally we would get an aha moment. Normally there would be some kind of epiphany, some kind of breakthrough, some kind of momentum building in order for us to kind of shift perspectives and see where we have to make a dramatic change. This is a semi-square. This is a little bit of a tension point. So we're really questioning whether or not we are still in alignment with some of the dreams and visions that we had even dating back to the beginning of April. I say that because, of course, Mercury is now direct. And we have to go back to the beginning of April, really see who it is that we were at that time, what it is that we planned for ourselves as far as future prospects really go. So much has changed through this retrograde and eclipse season that we might not be in alignment with some of the things that we thought we were going to manifest dating back to the beginning of April. So now we're starting to see where it is that confusion is kind of blurring the lines for us. There's still some things that don't make sense to us. We don't know how to move forward without identifying a little bit more certainty in our plans and our path and our ideas and in our goals. And right now, we're just kind of a little bit restless. We're a little bit confused. We want to take action, but the details, the path isn't clear for us to do so. And so we are kind of, I'm going to say, riddled with restlessness and anxiety from this particular aspect and trying to figure out what it is that we need to do in order to bust away from the past and absolutely start this pursuit of happiness in a new direction, in a new path, and moving forward. The moon in Aries will interact with Mercury, who is direct in this Taurus energy. And again, this is a retracing of the steps. We got to go back to the beginning of April. That is where, Mercury moved into this Taurus energy, got so far before Mercury went retrograde. We went all the way back to that 5th degree, and now we're retracing our steps. We're piecing things together. We have a new level of awareness, a new level of enlightenment. We have reached new levels of consciousness, which means that we are looking back on the things that have transpired from a different perspective, from a different set of eyes. The moon is our heart space, Mercury is our head space, and they're not necessarily on the same page at this moment. The moon in Aries has this impulsivity, this restlessness, this want, need, and desire to not look back, to just move forward. And Mercury, the mental plane, needs to look back, needs to understand what happened in his drunken slumber, needs to piece the connections, the pieces, the details together before we can be as gung-ho as the moon in Aries is to just move forward, to just move on. The moon will interact with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, in this Pisces energy in such a way that will have us kind of seeing where it is that our beliefs have changed, even in the short amount of time of the retrograde and eclipse season. Why? Well, because delusions are falling apart, lies are falling apart. The fibs that we had to tell ourselves in order for us to feel safe and secure in an unsafe and unsecure type of situation, they're falling apart, which leaves us with I'm going to say an opportunity to build up something new, especially the way that we believe in ourselves, especially the way that we believe in the universe, the process of actually piecing together the highs and lows, the wild card energies from eclipse season, the retrograde energies, deconstructing the systems, routines, foundations that are no longer supporting us and moving forward. What are we going to build in its place? That's what Saturn is all about. He wants to stabilize. He wants to provide new roles and responsibilities. He wants to basically say, hey, here's where you're at. Here's where you desire to be. How about we start getting our hands dirty here and start building the bridge that's going to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that you desire to be, so that we can get there eventually, sometime soon, if you don't mind. We do get a little bit of a reality check. We do have to come back down to earth a little bit. We may have a little bit of a negative narrative taking over because there's a lot of pressure here. There's a lot of pressure building, and it really doesn't feel good. And especially with Jupiter at the last degrees of this Aries energy, and of course the moon in Aries now firing us up to just kind of push forward and cut through any of those obstacles and challenges. There's a lot of intensity going on in our inner realm. That intensity gets intensified with the moon in Aries getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, in this Cancer energy, bringing up all the feels. Why? Because we have inner child wounds that need to be addressed. We have mother wounds that need to be addressed. Yes, we just had Mother's Day yesterday, but those residual energies in the collective are still alive and well. And therefore, there are a lot of heart activations coming up because we have to see where it is that we have to create a new foundation in order to take care of ourselves emotionally, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually. We're recognizing where it is that we've been pouring our energy into other people and not reserving enough energy to take care of ourselves. We are reconstructing what is worthy of our time, energy, and efforts, and who. And because of that, there is going to be some rearranging, some reorganizing that will be needed in our day-to-day lives. The last thing that we got going on here today is the moon in Aries energy, semi-squaring, a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a conflict with the sun in this Taurus energy. So anytime that we have the moon and the sun coming together in a good or bad aspect, what it is the past, the moon, versus the future, the sun. And what we're left with is the present moment where we have to act as the observer. So what we're observing right now is the connections, the cords, the bridges that need to be burned so that we don't continue to go back to old patterns and old behaviors and old elements that we tried so hard to get rid of. We need to burn that down. And futuristically speaking, what do we need to build in order to provide ourselves with safety, with security, with happiness, with joy? Again, the sun in Taurus energy really hasn't had the opportunity to build because of eclipse and retrograde season. And so there is this kind of jolt where it is that we have this pivot point where we don't want to be so immersed in the past, but yet we still don't know what it is that we're doing as far as the future goes. So what we're left with is this present moment, and the overlap between the past and the present is showing us very clearly what it is that we have to let go of in order for us to have the time, the energy, the space to create something new in its place.